this episode.
Now it's not tiring, and that I can definitely thank the Autopilot
I
for.
should fill up the car!
It happens that a new game was the main thing added after an update.
Another news is that I started a Facebook page for My Electric Earth.
I also found small scratches into the paint above the handle of the driver's door.
I want to say something that concerns me a little bit.
Welcome to this episode of My Electric Earth, celebrating half a year of ownership of the Tesla Model 3.
Half a year that I hardly will forget. I changed my traveling lifestyle during this half a year. I went far north. I went to the south. I went on a European road trip to Denmark, Poland, and several times to my summer house, making the total distance driven of 14,000 kilometers. That's approximately 8,700 miles. I really took the car for a drive during this half a year. I have never been driving so much during a so short period for a really long time. Before, I tried to limit the drive since I knew what damage it was doing to our environment, and it was tiring to go on long-distance trips driving a car. Now it's not tiring, and that I can definitely thank the Autopilot for.
In a road like this, where the markings are fine on both sides, the Autopilot is working really good now, and you can drive like this, like I do now, and in generally relax quite a lot, just monitoring that the car is doing the thing it should, and keep your hands a little bit on the wheel and move it around a little bit so the Autopilot knows that I'm here. But this works really fine, and it's really stable in this moment, which is pleasure to drive the car like this.
The Autopilot is a great thing on long distance drive because you're not getting so tired driving with this Autopilot. I mean, the car is driving itself and you are monitoring the car, how it works. I'm monitoring it. And you're sitting very comfortable, you get a lot of air in the car, and for some reason you don't get tired when you have been driving for a long time.
Yeah, the Autopilot is really helping with the drive.
But on this road where we are driving now, where there is no middle line, there is no option for driving out. Well, now Autopilot appears. Let's try it and see what happens. Starts driving the Autopilot, goes up to the speed limit, but now it goes to the left side, so I don't know how it really... Okay, I will just remove the Autopilot because I think it's driving too fast right now. But it's tricky for the car to drive with the Autopilot on a road where you have this kind of road where you don't have the markings in the middle because the road is so narrow in this moment.
Well, my Tesla Model 3 has been really reliable, and it has not been giving up on me any time. I mean, you're charging up it every morning and you come with the car and it's like 90% charged and you drive, and then you park it again and charge again and drive it, and then you're thinking, wait a moment, shouldn't I do something? Isn't there something I should do? I shouldn't go to the petrol station, right? No, because it's charged all the time. Oil, there is no oil to change. There is no service directly to check it's just maybe the tires you have to check, but this is also working very good with the internal system checking the tire pressure. So you get strange feeling that you're doing something wrong because you don't have any maintenance or don't have to go to a petrol station. And every time I see a petrol station and pass a petrol station, I feel like this, wait a moment, should I fill up the car? No, I'm sitting in an electric car. Of course I know that, but there is something inside my body that is telling me that I should fill up the car. I should at least check if it's empty. But of course I don't need that because it's an electric car.
Remember, half a year ago, from one of my previous episodes, when I just got my Tesla.
Here's one of the weirdest thing that I have as difficulty to understand with this car, is that there is no button or anything to turn it off. You just press park, open the door and leave. And hopefully the car will eventually turn itself off and lock itself.
I got used to it faster than I thought myself. I also added the function mirror folding, and that to make it easier to confirm that actually the car is locking itself. You can hear about Tesla and their cars that they are getting better and better the longer you own the car, and that is actually true. The over-the-air updates have, during this half a year, added so many features.
What is new in this update? Navigate on Autopilot. Yeah!
And updates are coming frequent. It's hard to make movies about different functions in the car because you never know when they will be changed.
This is really cool with this new update, that it shows here how the lights are displayed on the back. So when I press the brake, the braking light turns on this symbol.
But don't worry, the car will not update itself while you're driving, for example. You're in complete control of when the car will be updated, and while it's updated it has to be parked and you cannot drive the car for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. One of the latest updates is the extension of the profile settings, so the car knows already when you sit in the car what profile to set.
Like seats and steering wheel settings for the individuals that is using the car. That's very convenient, so you don't need to change up here all the time between names and that the car starts to go in other settings than you are used to. And it's very easy to do this. You just go to locks, and when you have unlocked the car with your profile, with your phone, and you're using your profile, you just press the small guy there and you added your profile to your car key. Now the cars know that when you're coming with this key, this will be your settings that will be used when starting driving the car. It's very important to know though that this setting can only be done when the car is in driving mood and you're not charging the car or doing something else. Then this option is locked, is disabled.
Several updates has also contained games that you can play on the screen while the car is parked. That is something that the kids are very enthusiastic for. And apparently the Tesla staff too. It happens that a new game was the main thing added after an update. What kind of use will we have for cars in the future? So using the car for half a year, what kind of wear and tear have I made to the car? Happily, I did not have any accident, but I did few times scratch the rims of the wheels, leaving small marks. I experienced some difficulty knowing exact where the car wheels are in relation to the curb edge. I also found small scratches into the paint above the handle of the driver's door. I'm a little bit surprised how these scratches appeared. I have just opened the door every time I went for a drive. Where the energy is coming from for my car has always been important for me. When the energy is coming from renewable sources, the car's impact on global warming when driving it is almost none. When using electricity produced from coal, the car is using the energy very efficient, thanks to the nature of the electric motor. There is no dirty dust and poisonous fume released into the atmosphere. There is so many benefits to not having a tailpipe in your car. One unique thing that you can do when owning a Model 3 is to use Tesla Superchargers to charge up the car. Something that I tried many times during this half a year.
So here we are at one of the few superchargers there is in Poland.
It is really easy to use comparing to other fast charging networks.
Unfortunately, it's a little bit tricky to type everything into the app to get the fast charger starting, but after some time it works.
But anyway, most of the charging companies uses renewable energy for their chargers, including Tesla, that even have their own solar panels on some of their stations. This half a year has really been cool, having a Tesla that is the most hyped car in the world. Of course, something that is really special. Being an advocate for clean transport is something that is important for me and for the future generations. But still, there is a long way to go before we can end the campaign and say that we are now living in a renewable world.
Well, that's all for this episode, but before you leave, I want to say something that concerns me a little bit. It was on the last earning call Elon Musk said that the self-driving features will soon be available for all the markets all over the world except Europe. Why not in Europe? Because the legislation in Europe is so tough and hard regarding self-driving vehicles, so they are not allowing it yet. So the legislation has not adapted to the technique that will be available soon. I'm not very proud of my European Union politicians when they cannot fix the legislation so the available techniques will be allowed to use on this continent. I have my doubts that it's not only the politicians that is having a finger within this decision. I think the big auto industry in Europe is also telling them that no, don't let Tesla come here with their self-driving cars because we are so far behind. That's my own thoughts, but could be very well right. Another news is that I started a Facebook page for My Electric Earth, where I will post small stories that maybe is not enough for a full episode, and I'll give you a hint when a new episode is coming up, maybe, and also, of course, link to my episodes on YouTube. So go over there and like it if you would like to follow me on Facebook also. Finally, if you're planning to buy a Tesla Model S, X or 3, I have the link down here that you can use and you will get some free supercharging. Until next time, have a great life.